What's up, you beautiful people? Today we're going to be talking about a different movie that I usually go over. We're going to be going over Mushnik's Little Shop of Horrors. Wait, no, Mushnik is the name of the... Little shop of horrors, little shop of terror. Directed by Frank Oz. Yes, that Oz. On a budget of $5 million. It took the 80s by surprise. Being based on a hit Broadway musical that was based on a B movie in the 60s. So it's a remake of a remake. Oh boy. It's got Rick Moranis, Ellen Greene, John Candy, Bill Murray, and Steve Martin. Like, you can't go wrong. But they're all caught up in this big old mess of music and gore. What else would you want? Come on. The movie is also controversial for its ending that took a third of its budget, but I guess that's what you get for recording on a Bond soundstage. But even after all of that, the ending was still hated. But we're going to go over all of that. So, let's talk about this masterpiece. So we open up with a sexy ass voice of some guy telling us that this alien from outer space has came, disguised itself as something, but it's okay, apparently it happened in a decade long before our own.
In an early year of a decade, not too long before our own.
And we open up with the theme song. And then we met Seymour, young little Seymour, played by Rick Moranis. He's just an innocent meek who just wants to make his boss, Mr. Mushnik, happy, and his love interest, Audrey, but we will go into that later. He falls off a shelf and meets Audrey, who's supporting a very nice black eye. Ooh. They break out into a song and dance about how they hate where they live, Skid Row, and they just want to get out of the gutter. Let me tell you something. They can sing like that. Jesus, Broadway. Hit him up. So Mr. Mushnik is all like, I'm closing up shop. But Audrey's like, no, it's okay. Seymour has a plant that does, it looks weird. So Seymour brings up this plant and they can't really identify it. So he just calls it an Audrey 2. Original. Mr. Mushnik is all like, I don't really know. Audrey gets the plant, puts it in the window, and immediately some guy comes up and just like,
suddenly, excuse me.
I'd love some roses. Mr. Mushnik wants to take everyone out to dinner, but Audrey already has a date with her abusive boyfriend. He tells Seymour to stay at home and take care of the sick plant. So, what does Seymour do? He sings to it. Naturally.
In your sunshine, I've given you dirt. You've given me nothing but heartache and hurt.
While it's singing to it, he pricks his hand on a thorn, and the plant seems to be into that shit. When a plant wants your blood, you stay the hell away from it. Seymour wasn't as wise. Oh boy. Sales are going well. Seymour is invited to a radio station where he meets Weird Al, also known as John Candy.
Well, you remember that total eclipse of the sun about a week ago?
He comes back home and realizes that he's tired of all the shit this plant is giving him. But Audrey's all like, yeah, your style is kind of shit. Can we buy you some new clothes? Audrey says that she needs to go on a date, and that's when we meet Steve fucking Martin. Being Steve Martin on a motorcycle, of course. He sings about how he loves pain and he loves to... Also, he's a dentist. After his song, that's what you want to call it, he meets Seymour in an alleyway. And notices the plant.
Big!
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 Audrey comes out, looking a bit skimpish, if I do say so myself, and leaves Seymour. Seymour walks in, complains to Tui about how life isn't good. Okay. But depressed there, if I do say so myself. And the plant talks. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. The plant just fucking talks.
On the left hand and...
Me.
I beg your pardon?
feed me.
Starts singing about how Seymour needs to kill the dentist.
Eats the kind of red hot treats, the kind of sticky, licky sweets I crave.
Should I go and perform mutilations?
Seymour holds out for about 5 seconds and then agrees. Okay. She's just being Bill Murray.
Whoa!
He goes in while the dentist is putting on his new gas mask, which, of course, gets stuck.
Oh, what'll I turn this gas off? Uh-oh.
Seymour chooses not to help the dentist,
What'd I ever do to you?
Nothing. It's what you did to her.
which ultimately leads to his demise. Seymour brings the body back, but the plant's all picky.
Chop it up. Chop it up.
While cutting up the body, Mushnick with his level 70 sneaking skills just notices everything. Like the guy plays Skyrim. After feeding the dentist, Seymour goes to bed. Just as you do. In the morning, the cops are outside Audrey's house. He crosses the street to ask her what's going on. She won't talk to him. She's all like, "Oh, they said it was like foul play, but it's okay. I wanted him to die anyway." So they go and start singing, and then eventually Seymour grows some balls.
Suddenly Seymour
Has grown some balls. And then they kiss. Seymour goes back to his room only to be greeted by Mushnick, who knows everything.
Under my own roof. An axe murderer. He's got your number now.
Shit. Mushnick gives Seymour a chance. One-way ticket out of town. Only to tell him how to defeat it.
What if I kept my mouth shut and gave you a one-way ticket out of town?
While he's talking to him, the plan is like, feed me, you fucking bitch. So Mushnick, being Mushnick, looks inside the plant and gets... Yeah. All the press is getting to Seymour's head. He's getting really, really tired. He's getting all these fucking radio people for some fucking reason. The plan has become friggin' mungus. Seymour is tired of all the guilt, so naturally, he proposes to Audrey, because why the fuck not? He tells Audrey to go pack while they get ready to leave out of town. The plan catches him. Seymour goes out. While that's happening, there is a scene where Audrey 2 booty calls Audrey.
Little lady, hello.
Who is this?
You're looking cute as can be.
I'm gonna let that set with you. Audrey comes over. The plant kind of sings a bit.
Don't try, pussy.
Don't need no glass or no eye.
She's halfway inside the plant. Don't look at me like that. Seymour busts in through the door, pulls her out, brings her out back, and is like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Jeez, the plant can talk now." "Yeah, I fed it my blood." "Okay." So a guy called Patrick Merton shows up. Merton? Patrick Merton shows up and says he wants to sell Audrey 2's everywhere. It's played by Jim Belushi. What did you expect? Seymour says no, realizes he has to destroy Audrey 2, goes in, has a weird-ass fight with Audrey 2, where he's doing nothing. The whole place falls down. Seymour grabs an electric wire, plugs it into the plant like it's a socket. The plant blows up. Our hero walks out from the ash and marries Audrey. And they live in a house somewhere green, happily ever after. Or so we thought. The original ending had Audrey dying and being fed by Seymour to Audrey 2. Seymour goes on top of a building to fucking kill himself. Why? And is approached by Patrick Merton. Turns to the shop to fight Audrey 2, but loses and gets eaten. Okay? Audrey 2 storms the city, killing thousands of innocent people. And that's how it ends. Yep. The movie being based on a Broadway show, Broadway doesn't really have a concept of a good ending. It's mostly just to entertain. But when the original ending was screen tested, the audience didn't really react so well. So they had to reshoot a whole different ending. Although I love the happy ending and I love the thought of Audrey and Seymour going somewhere green and being happily ever after, the bad ending does have a few good things. Yeah, I said that. Frank Oz was just a genius with the way he controlled the puppets. The Audrey 2 puppet took over 17 people to control in the last Green Me Mother scene. Like, that shouldn't go without notice. If I want anything to say from this review is that not all musical-based movies are bad, and yeah, even some comedians can sing. All I really want to say is that this movie deserves its attention. It should have a cult following. Both endings deserve their recognition. I want to thank you for watching this video, and Lorcan, it's done.
Now, do it.
Fuck that stupid song!